All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's Harshey podcast time.
Oh my gosh. When you asked if I want to do the intro or you want to do the intro, I should have known better. Oh my goodness. Welcome to the Harshey podcast.
What's your name?
February.
I've never heard that one before.
Oh my gosh, I've heard that so many times. What? Well, your name's January. My name's February. Ha ha ha. Got to the point in my life where I just would give back a blank stare. Oh goodness. Well, I'm glad that you guys are listening. And this is a podcast I've actually wanted to do for a little while. So before we get into it, we have a few announcements.
Yes, we do.
Yes. And the first is, many of you have probably already seen that we are coming out with our first ever custom handmade limited edition mom and baby rainbow unicorn Christmas ornament. Was that enough descriptive words?
That was. I think you left out because
it's awesome.
You deserve it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm super excited. And a little bit of the backstory on that is my grandparents years ago were in the Christmas business, and they did dough ornaments that were handmade. And now they're in the real estate business, but every year they do a custom ornament with the same lady who did their ornaments years ago for their clients. And I met up with my grandparents earlier this year in Chicago. I had an event there. They had an event there, and it overlapped. It was really great. And they came to my Find Your Village gathering there, and they saw our unicorn, and it got my grandmother thinking, because she's a businesswoman. She just thinks that way. And the next thing I know, I'm getting this amazing custom gift based off our unicorn. And she combined the two unicorns, actually. There's a mom and baby one we have.
Yes.
And then there's the cake pop and coffee one. And she combined them into an ornament. So I shared about it on my social media, and everyone loved it. And so we had a meeting with my grandparents, and we've worked out the details so that we can offer them to you guys. So those go on sale tomorrow, Monday. Actually, you're probably listening to this today. They went on sale today, Monday, at selflovegeneration.com. We, of course, are going to have a limited amount just because they're handmade by moms. And
Yes, they are.
Yeah, and it's neat because, you know, they're made locally in the U.S. and they are dough and just personalized. And I don't know, I just love it. I just think it's the coolest. I think it's actually the coolest gift I've ever received in my 38 years. So I'm really excited about it. And I see a tradition coming that every year we might have a different one. And that'd be really neat to collect them all, right? Wouldn't that be cool?
That'd be awesome.
We have some things in the works there. So
yeah. Well, that's what your grandparents do. Anyone that's bought
Yes.
a house from them, or they've sold their house in the last 20 or so years, gets an ornament.
Yeah,
We're talking about
year.
thousands of people.
I think at least 6,000 a year. Yeah. So it's, and they're customized and personalized. And they're personalized. Yeah. With their names. And it's so cool. Anyway, so, get one this year because you're going to wish next year you did. Yeah. So, other announcements are, after we finish with the cities on this Find Your Village gathering, tour, I'm not doing that anymore. The travel has been crazy. You know, last year was how many? 37 events. This year
37,
is,
yeah.
I don't know how many this year, actually. I don't have a final count, but a lot. And I'm not doing that anymore. So,
well, no, because kind of ran yourself into the ground.
Yeah, absolutely.
It affected.
It really goes hand in hand with what we're talking about today. We're going to be talking about self-care today.
Yes.
So it's been up in the air what we wanted to do. And I finally decided I want to just go back to doing big conferences. And so we're going to do one in the U.S. and the fall next year. And it's going to be in Portland, Oregon.
PDX.
One of my favorite areas in the United States. And the international one is finally going to be in Australia.
Yes.
So, Sydney, Australia. We did a poll and Sydney won. So if you
barely eking out Melbourne.
I know.
So if we do another Australia conference in the next few years, probably go with Melbourne.
Our friends on the Perth side are probably like, hey, what about us? I know. So hopefully we can do more. But
Yeah.
I keep having these moments of, did I really just commit to fly all the way to Australia? Because I hate flying. Believe it or not, I fly all the time. I've gotten more used to it, but I don't enjoy it. So it's gotten a little more stressful over the years, for many reasons. But yeah, so that's our 3 big announcements, which I did share on social media. If you want more details, you can go to bwfconference.com, selflovegeneration.com, or check out any of our social medias on Birth Without Fear and January Harshey, and you can check all that out. So with all those announcements out of the way, let's talk about self-care. This is something I actually talk about a lot at the Find Your Village gatherings because it's really important. We do talk about pregnancy and birth, but we talk mostly about postpartum self-care, self-love, body positivity, because no matter what stage you're at, those of you that are listening to this right now, you might not have any children yet. You might want children, you might not. You might have 1 child, you might have 1 on the way, you might have 2, you might have 4 or 5. You might be done having kids. So no matter what stage you're in, and same for the men listening, I know a lot of you listen together, husbands and wives and partners. No matter what stage you're in, we can all relate to this self-care, self-love, mental health, kind of things. So we spend a lot of time talking about that. So should I just get right into it?
This is your forte. So
are you just here to watch me talk?
I'm here to just stare at you, I guess.
Stare at me?
Yeah.
Oh, why do you want to stare at me?
You've been looking pretty sexy lately.
Thanks. Just lately, though?
Oh, gosh.
He hates when I make comments like that. Do you hear that, you guys?
Women always twist words around.
Okay, so
it's evil.
We'll have to talk. We'll do another podcast on self-love, but that's a good example right there. When you learn to love yourself, I say those kind of things just to mess with him because I know he hates it. But in the past, I would have actually really thought that way, or thought you were like giving me a backhanded compliment because I wasn't happy with myself, but I am now. So now I just say it to tease you.
You look good now. Finally.
You look good because I'm just beautiful because I'm me. Thank you very much. Okay. Tangent. So back to self-care. Social media has been great for this body positive movement, self-love movement, self-care. We didn't have those labels, a decade ago. So it's been awesome. And there's a lot of, I'm going to share some tips today, but you've probably read a lot of posts on social media about self-care. It's one thing to read it and it's another thing to apply it. Right. And so I hope that I can give you guys some things today that just click into place and can help you apply it. Self-care for me started taking on a bigger meaning last year. I remember one time you and I were sitting just kind of how we are right now in our bedroom and across from each other. And I was super stressed out. I had all of these commitments and all of this responsibility. And we had a ton of personal stress in our lives. And I said, I just can't get everything done. And I just don't know what to do. And you said to me, list it out for me. Tell me what you need to get done. And so I did. And about 10 things. I have to do this. I have to email these people. I have to get back to these people about this. I have to do this for this event. I have to do, and I just went through, and then this stuff for the kids. And I went all the way through it. And I said, and I haven't even had time to, go to the gym this week for myself. And you said, okay, well, I'm going to just tell you one thing that you need to do to change all that. And I think I responded with something like, oh, please. Yeah. Enlighten me.
Enlighten her. I certainly did.
He said, you need to take yourself from the bottom of that list and put yourself on top.
You got to look out for number 1.
Oh, geez.
It's true.
You guys, it was a moment where I was like, oh, wow, he really did just enlighten me. Like, mind blown. Because I totally did put myself at the bottom of the list.
Yeah, absolutely.
figuratively and in reality. As I listed everything out to you, I was absolute last. And I sat there and thought about how you said you just need to put yourself on the top and everything else will fall into place. And I was like, wow, what would that really look like? And probably about a month later, I had a really horrible gallbladder attack, and I had to speak at 2 events in Dallas that weekend. So I was up all night working through that. And for those of you that have not dealt with gallbladder pain, it is awful. It's the worst pain I've ever been through, and there's really not any relief for it. So,
and if you're the partner of someone going through it, it sucks. Very nerve-wracking.
Nothing you can do for
scary.
Me. So I was up all night dealing with that, and then I had to drive from Austin to Dallas and do back-to-back events on Saturday and Sunday. And so I drove there with our oldest daughter, and I basically drank apple juice and had a little bit of raw food all weekend. I came home. I did this really stupid cleanse. That's how I feel about it. And I was just wiped out. I was wiped out. And I had one more event for the year on December 10th in Buffalo, New York. And we were sitting on the couch on Tuesday or Wednesday. I had just done this cleanse. I was recuperating from that. And I looked at Brandon and I said, you know how people have nervous breakdowns sometimes in public, like Kanye?
I said yes. Oh yeah, I remember that exactly.
I said that.
I was sitting where you're sitting. You were sitting where I'm sitting.
You were like, where are you going with this? And I said, if I go to New York this weekend, that's going to be me. I don't think I'm going to make it home. And you said, then don't go. And I said, I have to. And you asked me, when are you going to start choosing yourself before everyone else?
Absolutely.
And I was like, oh man, I was just so worried about what everyone else would think. I don't do that. I don't reschedule events. What about these people I've committed to? And it's true. And you do need to follow through on responsibilities in life, but not to the point where you keep running yourself into the ground, because then how is that helpful to anyone?
No, it's not. You're not able to be at your peak self, and people come to these events to learn exactly what you're talking about: self-care, self-love,
body
positivity.
I have to practice that, right?
Right, and if you're feeling like hell mentally and emotionally and physically from the travel, you're not doing anyone any favors.
No
most
one.
Of all yourself.
Myself, you, the kids, and the people who are wanting to hear what I have to say, and that's what I did. I rescheduled the event, and I've had to do that a few times this year too. And the thing is most people are understanding, and most people understanding and practicing what I preach. Few people weren't. I've had people who have actually been hateful, and that's okay, because that's their journey. That's not mine. It has nothing to do with me. But most people are understanding, and most people want to support you in life. We make sometimes such a bigger deal in our heads on what we think people are going to say, or we think they're going to react, or we get caught up on those 1 or 2 people who don't understand, when really most people are going to be understanding, and it's going to be okay. It's going to work out. Well, when I rescheduled that event, it was like drawing a line in the sand for me with self-care. Self-care took on a whole other meaning.
Yeah, I remember.
Because, a lot of self-care people, I'm taking a bath, or I'm going to the gym, or I'm doing my yoga. And absolutely, those are self-care. I mean, I can ask a room full of, 50 women and men what they do for self-care, and every answer will be different, from sleep and therapy, gym, yoga, sex,
sex is a good one.
all these things. But I realized it needed to go beyond that I needed to choose myself every day. So what does that look like, right? So I started doing just that. I started getting up in the morning and started getting on my phone and checking in on everyone else and doing posts and doing emails. I would get up and, pee. Imagine that. Like, I'd actually go pee. And you know what? Moms listening know what I'm talking about. Like, you will get up and like your kids wake you up, or they're in bed with you. So you just start out the day with your little ones all around you. And it's like 3 hours later and you've been like having to go pee. And you're like, why haven't I just... You would never do that.
No, I wouldn't.
But it's, it's just, we just go, and we just don't even stop to think, oh, maybe I should brush my teeth, or, I don't know, shower, because it's been 4 days, because I haven't been choosing myself. So I started getting up in the morning and getting some breakfast, going to the bathroom, and then I would go to the gym and like go for a walk. And it freaked me out at first because I only had so many hours during the day, like if the babysitter was here or whatever, to get work done. And I had emails to do and this work and that work. And how can I go by the time I eat, drive to the gym, work out, come back? It's like 2 hours. And I'm like, I'm wasting 2 hours of when I need to be getting work done. What I found though, is that the work still got done, and it got done more efficiently and with less stress. So we think it's going to go one way, but it really goes the complete opposite. So give it a try.
Yeah, funny how that works.
It's funny how that works. Yeah.
It's like in Cars when Lightning McQueen is practicing going around that dirt track, and Doc tells him to turn right to go left.
Yes.
And he's like, what are you talking about, old man? And he ends up turning left and flying into the patch of cacti down below.
Yep.
And sometimes that's how it is in life.
I love that. Turn right to go left.
You got to turn right to go left.
Yeah, try it out. So a few things for me are I took all of my social media apps and I put them in a folder on my phone, and I titled it Self-Care First. And it was like a little bitch slap every morning. Like I would, because it's a habit and an addiction. I would go to check it and it says self-care first. And it was like me mentally bitch slapping myself. No. Get up, go pee, get something to eat, And so that has helped. That's helped me a lot. Another thing that I do, because I do love baths. Baths are something I do for self-care. And we have a big bathtub, which you guys have probably seen. We live in an apartment and it has a big bathtub in one of the bathrooms. I like to read on my Kindle app so my kids can't see what sexy books I'm reading. So I'll put my phone in airplane mode, and I'll put all my stuff on do not disturb. I already have all my notifications turned off that I can, because can you imagine if I had my Instagram and Facebook and email notifications on?
My God, that'd be ridiculous.
Yeah. So I've had those off since I got my phone, but I turn off anything else I can. And if you put your phone in airplane mode, you won't get distracted by notifications popping up, phone calls or text messages. And then I can read on my phone. So that helps a lot too. A lot of times when we go out to eat, I'll leave my phone in the car or turn it off and my wallet. Hey, I've gotten really good at it. He's going to call me out.
You have gotten better. Yes.
Yeah. So I know some of you listening to this are thinking like, I just don't know how to apply this. Like that's easier said than done. So let me tell you this. Do you feel guilty taking care of your children? Do you feel guilty doing things for a friend or your partner or your boss or your grandparents or anybody that you care about? Do you do something for them out of love and then think, oh God, I feel so guilty that I did that. Like I just shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have spent that money, or I shouldn't have spent that time making that for them. No, like that's stupid. Like you're probably like, okay, January, that's ridiculous. But you do that to yourself. I shouldn't have spent the money on that haircut. I can't get myself new shoes, even though my other shoes are hurting and are falling apart because I have to get this and this for my, everyone else. No, I can't ask my husband to watch the kids so I can go take a bath because he was at work today, or I don't want to hear it, or, my kids need me, or, the toddler's going to cry because, mommy walks away. Guess what? They will survive. That's you. That's you doing it to you. That's not your husband doing it to you. That's not your friends doing it to you. That's not your kids doing it to you. That's you being a martyr. And let me tell you something about being a martyr. It's annoying. It is you are annoying. Stop.
As our oldest used to say, you're ignoring.
Ignoring. Stop it. And I know because I've been there. I've been annoying too. Stop being annoying. Stop being a martyr. It's serving no one. So get this. You know how you love everyone in your family and that you feel that everyone in your family deserves love and care? You're part of your family too. You are part of your family too, which means you deserve that love and care that you give everyone else. You need to say some of that for you. And you need to have the conversation with your partner or spouse. You can't just let them get home from school or work, or you get home from school or work and you're tired or you need help, and just assume that they hear the conversation in your head. They do not hear the conversation in your head.
We do not. No.
So all of a sudden, like, you're pissed at them and they're like, what did I do? And it's because you've had this whole conversation in your head and they haven't acted the way you want them to. Don't forget to have the conversation with your spouse or your partner. And if you don't have one, reach out to a friend or family member. You have to have the conversation. You have to say, look, I need you to just feed them. And you know what? Let them feed them what they're going to feed them. Who cares? Walk away and go take care of yourself. Go for a walk. Listen to your music. Go get a coffee. Go take a bath. Go read a book. Go sit in the closet and cry with chocolate. Whatever. Whatever you need to do for you, do it. But you have to speak up. You have to be your own damn hero. Nobody else, most of the time, is going to come along and be your knight in shining armor. So be your own damn knight and do it for yourself. Speak up for yourself. Do it for yourself, and you deserve it just as much as anyone else in your family or your circle deserves it. Wouldn't you agree?
I would absolutely agree.
Mm-hmm. Good.
You are kicking ass verbally.
If you do
mic
not
drop. Wait. Those are expensive. Don't drop the mic.
If you are wondering, like, where do I even begin? I have asked women many times, what do you like to do? What do you want to do for yourself? And they're like, I don't even know. Because you have a baby, you get into survival mode. You're taking care of everyone around you. And then you're like burnt out, touched out. I need to take care of myself. And you're like, I don't even know what I want to do.
I have a suggestion for that.
What?
First thing in the morning, get up, go pee, like what you were talking about,
Yeah.
And get yourself a glass of water.
Yeah.
That's one of the healthiest things you can add into your life.
Just take a deep breath.
Yeah, you're getting a glass of water. You're hydrating yourself after a night of resting and not drinking anything. And right there, first 2 minutes you're awake, you've done two things for yourself.
Yeah, and how many of us go through the day without ever taking a deep breath? Like, just
a lot of us.
If
guys too.
If you guys are listening to this right now and you have not taken a deep breath today, just take a moment right now and do that for yourself.
Oh, I feel so much better.
I wonder how that actually sounded. That might have sounded really weird, but do
Probably
it.
Sounded really
do it for yourself. I say, if something that I tell women is, if you don't know where to start with self-care, look in your underwear drawer. And if all you have are old period underwear, it's time to spend a few dollars on you. Get some new panties that are not period panties.
86, the period panties.
But you know what? We need underwear and shoes just as much as our husband and our friends and our kids do. So, you know, why do we do that? Why do we put that off? You know, there are some of you probably listening to this who do not have a lot of help. Either you don't have a partner or a spouse, or you don't live by family, or your partner or your spouse works a lot, or they're in the military, or they just work out of town during the week. And you just don't have that support. You don't have someone that can take the kids for you at night so you can take a bath, or watch them in the morning so you can go for a walk or whatever. So I'm going to tell you what I did when Brandon was in grad school. And I had 2 kids that were close in age, and I would lose my mind most days. I would put them in a double jogging stroller that I bought off of like Craigslist or something like that. Strap them down. It's my favorite thing to do with young children, is to strap them down in the car or in a stroller. It's so wonderful. And I would literally dump goldfish on them. Like, just dump it. It's all good. They don't care. The only person that cares if it's in like a bowl or a overly priced snack contraption is you. Your kids don't give a shit. Like, all they care is they have goldfish to eat. So pour it on them. Give them a juice box or a sippy or a bottle. I don't care. Whatever they want, whatever they love, whatever will keep them happy. Put in your headphones and put on your mommy music or your favorite podcast and go for a walk.
The Hershey podcast is a good one, I hear.
And go for a walk. You get sunshine, your kids get sunshine, the endorphins kick in. If they're saying mom, 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 you can't hear them because you're listening to Tupac with your earbuds in. So, all eyes on me. It's going on in your head and you don't even hear your kids. Like, you're good to go.
Pour out a little liquor.
I know, biggie, biggie, biggie. Can't you see?
We've been listening to a lot of 90s rap the last couple of days.
Now you know what's been on our Spotify.
Yeah.
So, but seriously, sometimes self-care is going to look like that for people. It's just, I would put our older two kids when they were younger, I would put them in the car, strap them down and go for a drive till they would fall asleep for naps some days if we were having a really hard day and they were fighting me on naps. And then this was before all the apps and stuff. So I would park and I would read a book or read a magazine or make a phone call to a friend or a family member I haven't talked to in a long time. And I remember one time you said to me, well, you really need to, not do that so much because, you're wasting a lot of, gas and money on gas. And I said to you, you want to trade? And you're like, nope, spend all the money on gas you need. Put you in your place real quick. I was like, I'll go to grad school. You stay home with the kids and you let me know how that goes. Yeah, you never gave me a hard time about it again.
No. I find in the 30s, I'm a little smarter than I was in the 20s.
A little bit. Just a little.
A tad.
Yeah. But you know what? Sleep is self-care.
Oh, it's one of the best forms of self-care you can do.
I know that struggle of, oh my gosh, they're in bed. I can have some adult time where no one's touching me, no one's wanting me, no one's needing me, and I can watch, binge watch Orange is the New Black. And sometimes do that. That is self-care. But other times, choose sleep over it. Because guess what? It's going to be on Netflix later when you're not sleep deprived. It'll be there. So sleep is really, really good self-care.
Well,
take a nap with your kids.
Yeah.
Don't take your phone into nap time and get on freaking social media and wire your brain and compare yourself to other moms that somehow live in all white and soft pink homes and every picture is perfectly edited. Don't do that. Like, close your eyes while you nurse that baby to sleep. Think, drift off. Give yourself some time to just let your mind be clear and think about all the things you're passionate about and maybe fall asleep. That's self-care. That is self-care right there.
Well, 20 to 30-minute power nap in the afternoon is one of the healthiest things you can do. And a lot of other countries do that as well. We don't so much here in America because we're overworked and overtired. But if you can, do it.
So a lot of us get in this mindset that self-care is selfish. Well, and people have asked me that. Isn't self-care selfish? I'm going to flip that on you. Not taking care of yourself is selfish. Being a martyr is selfish. Because who does it serve in your family if you're run down? If you're mentally run down? If you're physically run down? Who does that serve? That's selfish. It is selfish to be a martyr and not take care of yourself. It is selfless to take care of your mental and physical health so you can be your best version of yourself for you and for your family. Do you ever think of it that way? I know you probably have, but people listening, some of you might have and some of you might not have.
This probably comes from listening to a lot of motivational tapes and CDs over the years. Anthony Robbins, Jim Rohn, things like that. And one thing that they always consistently say is first thing in the morning, you have to take care of yourself. And they talk about the habits of successful people, getting up, meditating, exercising, writing out your goals, doing something for yourself first thing in the morning. And so that's always stuck with me. And that's something that I like to do. I like to get up early before the kids and be able to do something for myself, whether it's go to the gym or go outside and walk or do some yoga. It's important, and it's something I was always adhered to. And no, I don't have a problem doing that for myself because it's just part of a habit I've established over many years, and now it's just a part of me. And
I've learned to support you in that. And usually need to take time during like the witching hours. You reminded me of something, and that is in our 20s when we had a few young kids that used to piss me off. That you had no problem taking care of yourself first. Like you said earlier, watch out for number one. Yeah. And, it was never like this internal struggle debate for you to take care of yourself. No. And I used to get so frustrated and jealous and upset about it. And what I've learned in my 30s is that in my 20s, I should have taken a page from your book.
I agree.
I bet you do.
It was a good book.
So for those listening, instead of being frustrated when your partner or spouse takes care of them, talk to them about what they need and why they do that. And then it will open up the discussion of what you really need. And you'd be surprised that your partner or your spouse, they have no problem helping you with that if you just tell them, So I wish I had taken a page from your book and when I was younger, because I found myself now in my, mid to late 30s struggling with some, health stuff because I didn't put myself first and I didn't take care of myself more. Especially as moms, we get in this mindset that we need to give and give and give and be like perfect, like monks, right? Like we have to give and give and give. Well, let me tell you something. Monks don't have kids.
No.
They get to walk around silently and peacefully and think and ponder and whatever, take care
It reminds me of one time I was listening to a Wayne Dyer CD and he was talking.
Yeah, I was going to say this next. Go ahead.
And he had 8 kids himself. And he would talk about Rumi or Christ or Buddha or any of these guys.
Examples.
As examples that we look to and how they were at a higher level spiritually. And
higher vibration.
They were at a higher vibration, man. And then he would point out that none of them had 8 kids like he did.
Exactly. It's so funny because it's like, what would Jesus do? I don't know, because Jesus didn't have 6 kids. So I'm going to change out what would January do?
At least none that Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John wrote about.
I know, right? That's the thing is like, be careful who you're comparing yourself to.
Yeah.
Be careful on social media, in your real life. Be careful who you're comparing yourself to. When I start comparing myself to people, I have to stop real quick and realize they don't have 6 kids. Mm-mm. They don't have my struggles. They don't have my husband's struggles.
No.
I can be grateful for what they're sharing and take good from it. But, people who may be in a different place than I am, that's just it. They're in a different place than I am. They don't have what I have going on. And we're all on our own journey. And self-care is going to look different for all of us. And self-care is going to look different for us individually at different times in our lives too. Sometimes we have more support. Other times we don't. Sometimes we have more money. Sometimes we're lucky that we have ramen and it's a good week that you can throw eggs and some frozen veggies in that bitch, So, that's
Hells
living large,
egg drop soup.
That's right. I know the days where $20 is like a game changer for that week,
Oh yeah.
So we're all in a different place. And, you can't compare yourself to somebody else, especially on social media, but even, in your circle or in your life, because they're not living your life. So you, I'm putting this on you, have to figure out how you can take care of yourself in whatever situation you have going on. Maybe the only kind of self-care you can find is putting your baby on your back in a carrier because it's the only way they won't cry, and going for a walk, or laying down without your phone and taking a rest when your baby rests if only have one kid, or going into survival mode and doing easy meals and having Daniel the damn tiger on all day. Like it's going to look different for each of us. We're all in a different season. So depending what season you're in, find what will work for you and ways that you can just take care of yourself. And it might be peeing and drinking some water and a deep breath is all you can get in a day. But do it, because you might not even be doing that.
Absolutely.
What's your favorite thing to do for self-care?
I'd say right now it's some form of exercise,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's going to the gym. Probably going to the gym, my favorite. I work out every other day in the gym. It's like a combination of a powerlifting, bodybuilding, functional training regimen I have going. And I'm really enjoying it a lot. And throw in my heavy metal in my ears and just zone out. And
Some Metallica.
Some heavy metal music.
They're the only, just a little side note, they're the only heavy metal band that I like. Metallica.
Yeah, they were the first heavy metal band I ever got into. So we were watching the 92 Grammys on TV and heard them play Enter Sandman. I was like, oh my gosh, that's the coolest song I've ever heard. And then someone got me onto their older albums and I was like, oh my gosh, what the? My mind is blown.
That's awesome. So some form of exercise and listening to your heavy music.
Yeah. Or in days I'm not lifting, I either go for a real long walk in the morning because I'm kind of over that running shit.
Yeah.
And or yoga. I really like doing yoga because it really does help me with my strength in the gym. So those are my favorite right now, by far.
That's awesome.
What about you? What's your favorite?
My biggest things for self-care right now are remembering to choose myself over social media and work when which is very layered and very big, but very important. And baths are definitely Epsom salt baths. I like to take a few a week. And when I need to shut my mind down, but don't want to be on like watching anything. Well, I don't really watch much because I don't want to get into a show because then I have to, I'll want to spend time binge watching it. So I really haven't started any new shows since we finished Game of Thrones. But I'll read a book, just a really quick, easy read from, on the Kindle app. Going for walks and listening to my music. And sex.
Sex is amazing.
Yeah. I think that's
a great one.
Yeah. And sleep too. But so I think those are my favorite things to do for self-care right now at this stage in my life.
How often do you like to do the sex?
Are you looking for a commitment at the moment? So, and right now I am doing some pretty extreme self-care for my physical health, which I want to do a podcast on in probably 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's pretty phenomenal stuff.
Yeah, it is. So I haven't really talked about it. I've been sharing it on my Instagram stories and my Snapchat, juices I'm making, but I haven't been talking about the details or my thoughts every day or, journaling via social media. I'm just freaking doing it. And I'll talk about it later. So that is huge self-care going on for me right now. But I kind of want to live and not be in pain or have surgery. So it's very, very important.
Yeah. Well, what you're doing is amazing.
Yeah. So I hope that some of those ideas and some of that mindset we shared and some of those tips we gave will help you if you're struggling with self-care. And I also, when we share this on social media, you guys on Instagram, I'll ask, or I guess I'll open it up to any questions that might have popped in your mind while you're listening to this. And I'll check in on the post and answer your questions there. So if you have any questions from this podcast or related to self-care, go to my Instagram, January Harshey, and find the post when I share about it, this podcast, and ask on there, and I'll reply and answer on Instagram, not on Facebook. I hate Facebook. I go on there as little as possible. So if you ask me on Facebook, I will not answer.
Facebook has some kind of weird power over people. It turns them into...
Yeah, boundaries, man. I need boundaries when it comes to Facebook. I need boundaries. So, anyways, or on my Snapchat. If you're on Snapchat, or even if you're not, get on there because I respond to almost everyone who Snapchats me. It's my favorite form of social media. I share all my stuff from my Instagram stories, plus sometimes some other things on Snapchat, and I respond to most people. So, get on Snapchat if you want it to be a little more personalized.
Yeah,
I love it.
She may snap you back and answer your questions and right there live. Sitting next to me too. So this upcoming weekend I'll be going to St. Louis and Indianapolis, and St. Louis has 3 tickets left and Indianapolis has 5. So if you are anywhere near those, come and join me in person. I'm really excited to get back in the groove with finishing up this tour. And then after that, I go to... You go to Raleigh, North Carolina.
The
weekend after that.
There's 3 to 5 tickets left. And then I know I go to Calgary because I rescheduled Calgary, but that's sold out.
Yeah.
So if you're wanting to come to that, email me because I might be able to find someone who wants to transfer a ticket, but that is way sold out.
Yeah.
So I'll be doing that this upcoming month. I have some events. I'm forgetting one, but anyways, and the Ornament comes out. It'll be out by the time you guys hear this.
Yeah, it will
so
be
go to
out,
selflovegeneration.com. Also, there's a few mugs and sports bras left.
Absolutely.
And our Dad and You Do You Boo unicorn shirts are back in stock. So go check that out too, you guys.
Yes, and if you are one of the few people in Australia that hasn't bought. I made up a January word.
It's been Brutton.
Yeah.
When I last checked, there were 13 tickets left.
Yeah.
In 24 hours, it's almost sold out. So
yeah, we opened it up last night. To
open more tickets.
We opened it up last night, which was actually today in Australia.
I know. It's so cool.
Sounds like kind of a mind-blowing.
I'm learning a lot.
Yeah.
Learning new things. Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to say real quick as we end this, thank you to all of you guys for your outpouring of love and support and understanding and grace these last few weeks as I've taken care of myself. I've been blown away. I had to reschedule Nashville, and I just want to say every single person in Nashville that is scheduled to come to that event has been nothing but understanding and supportive and kind in the emails back and forth about that. So thank you guys. It means so much to me to have that solidarity and that same support and love that I give out. When you receive it back, it's just beautiful. And I've really, really appreciated that. So thank you. And please do something today and this week to take care of yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, you guys. With that, I'll say I love you. Until next time.
Adios.